It's just 5 seconds of quiet so that we can, when we noise, like we take away like the buzzing.
Oh, okay.
We have to like get like a quiet profile and it like puts it through the rest of the.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know where you found that. Where did you find that at?
I literally searched. It was like.
Did you literally search 5 seconds of quiet?
Yes. No.
Oh.
I said, how do you reduce the sound
the buzzing sound or
of the
shit.
buzzing on Audacity? And the guy was like, all right, do this. And then literally like 2 seconds later, it fucking worked. And I was like, it fucking worked.
And it worked.
And we were like,
oh, shit.
and we were like, there it is.
There it is. It worked.
There it is.
It's actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, I mean, so all the static in the background that we have like on our first episodes.
The first episode.
It was all fucky.
We didn't even do it with mics, bro.
Oh yeah, well, no, yeah. Well, we were doing it with the camera.
True.
But then later on,
with the camera mic,
we didn't have the Rode mic yet.
Oh.
We were just doing the camera mic.
Yeah, that was bad.
And that sounded like asshole
like
because
Probably
Elijah.
sounded like
Elijah.
Pitch
You
perfect.
can't hear me.
Right, Elijah talked too quietly. I'm loud, so
You are
when I
loud.
was talking,
It's me.
Have you ever heard him laugh?
Yeah, we all have.
that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why we're trying to figure this out too, because I was trying to compress the voices too.
Because you laugh so loud?
Right, and it was like, "Bah, ha, ha," and it was like super loud, and the whole thing went like, and it started like crackling and
maxed
shit.
out the sound waves on Audacity.
Yeah, it was maxing out everything, and
Yeah,
so
it looked bad. It was pretty bad.
I thought it was the mics, and then the cables, and then we tried all sorts of shit, and then
Sure enough, it was just your laugh box.
yes,
That's what I tried to tell him yesterday. He was like, I can't get it to stop. I was like, you're just a loud person. There's nothing we can do.
what was that one thing? Was I ordering? Where was I ordering at? And I was like talking, and I was like,
burrito the other day, and I was like,
oh
can you
yeah,
stop
it's like, can you stop
screaming?
screaming? Because I wasn't sure that the guy could hear me because the glass pane.
No, you know, I feel that too. I feel like the glass is in the way, and like
It is.
The glass
plus
pane.
the mask.
and the
Plus
mask,
the
and I
mask.
feel like I have to over.
And so I was like, hey, yeah, I'll take the no, the Pico.
And I was like
the
sitting.
Pico.
I was like, can you not scream?
And
in my
Elijah
ear?
was getting mad because I was screaming. So
Scream.
You're yelling for the Pico.
Well,
Yeah, can I get some guac? Thank you.
well, I didn't ask for guac.
Oh.
It's because it's extra.
You just point at the one you want. Normally they're like,
Oh yeah, let me just point over the gigantic ass 6 foot
And
pane.
that's
in front
funny
of me.
because I have such a bad time speaking very loud, so people are like, "What?" And I'll be like, I get the... and I'm trying to point at the stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll like to order, and then I point at the beans, and they give me
Beans.
beans that are not black.
Lovely.
So.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So our guest of today, ladies and gentlemen, and others, Krystal Davila, also known as my girlfriend, for people that do not know.
My girlfriend, you
Okay.
did you not admit it?
So yes, she's my girlfriend. We finally have her on the podcast, which is great. What do you do
Currently? Okay.
What is your job? What is your job title?
Yeah,
So I'm currently one of the exercise physiologists for the United States
Okay.
Air Force for basic military training.
Mhm.
Currently, I just do a lot of gait training and a lot of strength
What is
training.
gate training?
Yeah,
I remember hearing gate training. I was like, "What do you do? Open gates, bro?" And I didn't know.
No, so run form. So gait really is anything that you do: walk, run, go up and down stairs, whatever. It's like a study of movement. It's a movement pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So what I end up doing is for these trainees, we get a bunch that don't exactly know how to run properly. So we teach them the proper mechanics, and we use a really cool treadmill.
What's the average age for these kids? Like, you were saying that they're all pretty much, 18, 19 years old, right?
The oldest that I've worked with is 39 years
Okay,
old.
that's
And the
pretty
youngest is probably, if you get a parent to sign off on it, I believe it's 17.
That makes
So-
sense. Probably like, a few months out from their 18th
Yeah,
birthday or
yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they graduate, I think they have to be 18 by the time they graduate. So it's one
Okay.
of the recruiters can like schedule that way.
So, your job title is exercise physiology,
Yes.
but you teach gait training.
Yes.
How does do you think that the job title warrants the actions that you do on a day-to-day basis?
So, exercise physiology is a bunch of different things. So it's more so.
Because it can also be rehab,
Yes.
like similar to athletic training.
No,
right?
it can be rehab, but I specialize more so in like mechanics, so like sit-ups, push-ups,
Biomechanics type deal.
gait training. We use like the EMGs to see how they run.
What is
how
EMG
much,
for
how
people
much,
to know?
So it's like a little electromagnetic like device where you can attach to your body and you can see which muscle is activating. So when they're running, we mainly focus on like glute strength and glute activation because that's
basically what you want to focus on when they're trying to maintain those power output forces.
So the butt's a really big power muscle, so we want to focus on utilizing that as you're running.
I should be an exercise physiologist too. Huh.
But yeah, my day to day, we actually just finished revamping the PT program for the Air Force for BMT. So
right. So talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, obviously, I know a little bit. The exterior idea of what the PT process kind of entails for your programming, but I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Like, you are revamping this whole entire program for this military branch. What is it that is so much more different now than what was previously instated?
So previously they would do like a run strength, and it was the same run and it was the same strength aspect of it. So before their run, it actually had a couple of static stretches in their warm up. So it was very old school. And then they just had them run. And the theory behind that was just the more you run, the more cardiovascular fitness you're going to get. But you can actually build that in different ways. So we developed a CIT program. It's called Cardio Interval Training Program. So they do a lot of interval training now, specifically due to COVID too, because COVID was kind of rough.
Right.
So we had to figure out a way to separate these trainees 6 feet apart. And there's like 2,000 of them outside. Yeah, like
it's a lot.
Each squadron can fit roughly 2,000, and we have 8 of them. So we had to develop a way to separate them and just really pinpoint building that cardiovascular endurance. Because if you have them out there running within the first 2 weeks they get there, they're breathing on each other. They're like,
well, you were saying one kid like acted like he was pretty much like he finished a marathon after like 1 mile run.
No, we get the unfittest bunch,
bro.
Wait, what happened?
This dude,
yeah.
Tell him that story, please.
Well, we get a really unfit bunch of trainees, and then we get like our track star athletes, and we see it all the time. It's not just like one kid.
One side or the other.
I know that you're
literally like so.
I know that you're limited on saying what exactly can occur, obviously, just because of the sake of your position as a job. But I mean, some people blatantly just I would assume they finish running a mile as if they finish running a marathon.
Yeah, well, because these kids.
Because they don't do anything.
They don't do anything before they get there. But there's some that like are straight up
excellent.
They're excellent. They know what they're doing. They know what they're going to be doing. The physical adaptations that they need.
If I was going to enlist in the Army or any sort of military branch, I'd probably try to get in shape before I got out there. I mean,
you would think,
wouldn't you?
You would think.
I mean, anybody with a.
But they don't.
You would think. I mean,
they're just trying to recruit workers. I guess in the sense like. Even with military type training and stuff, you have to understand like a good majority of these people aren't going to see a lot of armed combat, bro.
Combat or anything physical.
Or anything physical for that matter. And you can take a look at some of the people that we know especially, and I can say this, who they're in the Army or in the military, and they're overweight. They're not in shape at all. But
I guess.
No, they're not.
And that's the reason as to why we developed this program, because it's not this like run strength, that's all you know. It's just those 1-2 exercises. I mean, they leave knowing multitude different exercises. So it's not just the same strength. We developed an A and a B day, and then CIT, we developed an A and a B day, and then we just have them running, and we focus more so on that cardiovascular fitness aspect of it. So excellent. Now instead of leaving with just 2, 1 strength and 1 run, they have a foundation to hopefully move forward within the Air Force and develop more fitness after that. So
gotcha. So how did you kind of like, obviously for me, I know how you kind of got into working in that particular field, but what were some of the things that kind of drew you to becoming, a strength coach, an athletic trainer? I mean, what were some of the, I mean, that's such a rare job. I feel like
strength trainer?
No, athletic training in general. Like, I never really grew up thinking or even knowing, like, someone who wants to, like, become an athletic trainer.
Well, in high school, when you...
No offense. I'm saying, like, you just don't hear it often.
Like, in high school, when you think of athletic trainer, what do you think of? Someone that just tapes...
You think of student athletes, someone...
Yeah.
Or...
glorified water.
I remember, I would think, like, athletic trainer and think like a personal trainer.
No.
Like you think of personal training, but it's not.
And that's the thing too. Like the name is very
misleading.
Like
what do you think it should be called?
People are trying to change it to like sports medicine,
Sports
trainer,
specialist.
sports medicine, whatever. Anything besides athletic trainer, because people think it's like
the word trainer kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
Well, even my mom was like, "Oh, so Krystal's athletic trainer? Can she give me personal training?" And I was like, "Well, she can, but
that's always been a big.
That was before
a big
she
thing.
became.
Yeah, it's been a big thing. So.
Gotcha.
As far as getting into what I've been doing, I went to college not really knowing what I was going to do when I graduated high school. So what I wanted to do something around sports and athletics, and I was very knowledgeable with like the body, and I wanted to learn more about that. So first, what I did was rehabilitative science. Now that is like a prereq to go into physical therapy, and then that was like another 4 years of school. So
my buddy actually in physical therapy school right now in Dallas, and he says it's awful. Like, it's so hard. It's kind of like medical school from what I've heard.
Joey Sandoval, if you're listening, yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Good job, Joey.
Thing.
We're so proud of you.
We're so proud, buddy.
So
I'll go shout him out on this.
So for me personally, I wanted to graduate, and I wanted to get a job right after college. Like I didn't want to go through another 4 years of school, which eventually I did, and we'll talk about that. But I did not want to go through another 4 years of school.
Well, it wasn't technically 4 years.
It wasn't 4, it was 2.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening as well was like, man, like I think I'm going to change my major. So I changed it to athletic training, and originally it's a dual major at the university that I went to,
which is
the University of Incarnate Word.
Cardinals, baby.
Birds up.
Birds
up.
Stop. Enough.
Okay, please. You're wasting my time.
Please
No, I'm
stop.
kidding.
Please stop. It's enough.
So originally I was gonna dual major because the classes were the same, but I am awful, if you know me, at OChem. So I said rehab.
Let me just stop you right there because
Chemistry.
everybody is awful at OChem. My brother took organic chemistry at Texas, pre-med biology. And I remember how many times he was so upset at that fucking class. I mean, no one is good at that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I have like
no
years
one.
in, like altermats chemistry in high school. That's the last.
Bro, that's fucking
class.
basic.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Come on, it doesn't matter. Regardless, this is organic chemistry. That's a completely different story.
I couldn't even decipher shit in high school. I can't even imagine what it's like.
But you were just stupid. That's just you, though.
It could have been true.
Well, you kind of had bad grades in high
But
school.
that's just because I didn't care. That's a different story.
Maybe if I tried.
I was focused on. We were both focused on baseball at the time.
Yeah.
Like we were playing on 3 or 4 teams at the time. Anyways, sidetracking. But go on. You don't like organic chemistry.
No, yeah. So
Nobody.
I dropped that, and then I just went straight to athletic training. Little did I know, though, that the hours for athletic training was brutal.
Trash.
Yeah, I had no time for myself. I would work with the football team.
Yeah, they have you at the field in the mornings.
Yep, I was there probably like 4 weeks before school even started.
Oh.
So I was working with them all day for 4 weeks during my summer, getting all those hours, focusing on passing my BOC at the end of my senior year, and
Board certification.
Yes, it's a board certification for athletic training. So it was.
So I guess this leads to a good segue though, because I feel like once you really started to enter into the college realm,
it was pretty much.
But I'm saying like even within the college realm, you're now experiencing what it's like to have a really, really, really packed schedule.
Oh yeah.
And so your hours are brutal. You got to study for class. You need extracurriculars, I'm sure, for other things that must be going on, along with maintaining a social life at the same time. Social life, quote unquote. I mean, you're partying, bro. It's college. Let's be real. It's college. So on top of that, I feel like it's a good segue to get into how you've become adapted. Like you started to adapt to really developing a schedule that works out for you. And developing a schedule, even without pay, you were essentially not getting paid, right? During this time, you were doing clinicals.
No, yeah, no, it was just paid in knowledge.
So that's what I'm saying. So you're getting paid in fucking what you would say knowledge, okay?
Experience.
How do you even like for somebody that's trying to get in that same field or do something similar? Do your clinical rotations, like even for like nurses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you how are you to persuade someone to do the same thing? Like, would you recommend someone to do that if that's what they want to truly do?
You know what's funny is when I was working with the football team, we would work in the mornings, and then by the time we get out, it's like 7. And they would feed the football players like football players. Like, they would give them so much food. Yeah.
No
and so
question.
we would get some of that food, right? So I would eat it. And then I noticed one day during one of my rotations, I just weighed myself on one of the scales that they have in the front. And I was like, holy shit.
You gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, dude. I was 120. I was 120.
Shit.
Yeah, no, I was
What
120.
were you previously?
Previously, I started at 109.
Wow.
Right, and this was probably maybe 3 months into my clinical rotations, and I was like, dude, I am 120 right now. Like, that's wild. And this is my we started rotations my junior year in college, and I was drinking at that time and doing all that fun stuff. So it just shit upon shit.
You didn't exercise at this time, though, right?
I exercised every so often, and then I was just really tired. And I just
What kind of exercise would you do? Like run?
It's kind of hard to fit that into her. If she's saying all the stuff she's doing, it's kind of hard to fit that. You're tired. You don't want to go.
Yeah.
You have to be up early.
I think the only time I would exercise is probably on the weekends. So I was just tired, and we would travel and we would do things. So on weekends that I wasn't traveling with that football team, I was
and still not
spending
even
time
get
working.
paid.
Yes,
Which is really, you know, I find some problem in that, man.
But it's kind of like one of those things. Like, if you love it, does it really matter?
Yeah.
It should matter
well,
because
To a
think
certain
about
extent.
it. But think about it. You're a college student, right?
Right.
So when you're in a position like that to get clinical rotation, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you're no longer, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, right?
Right.
You are now, what if you say you're in your mid-20s or 30s and you have no ability to obtain any sort of, income or anything? Think about that situation.
Well, you can say that about college athletes.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we can get in that conversation later, but you think about the same thing. Like, if someone were in their mid-20s or 30s and they were trying to become an athletic trainer, say hypothetically speaking, and have to go through those clinicals and not get paid a single cent, how is that even fair?
It's not.
It's like almost like you are shunned out of automatically going into that field, I feel like, because you no longer have the time to basically.
It's also because if you think
else.
about it, you're also not getting paid as much as you should be getting paid. That's throughout the whole
in training, right?
That's throughout the whole thing. Like, when you're graduating and you have a job and you're in high school. Like, granted, Texas football, you make a ton of money doing a Texas high school job, but like everywhere else, or even in the pros, or even whatever arena football, like you're not. Yeah, they're underpaid. We have been underpaid for God knows how long, even for the grueling hours that we do.
What is the average salary, would you say, for athletic training? What would you say if you had to stick it between two different yearly salaries?
Probably like
40 to 60?
Yeah, I would probably stick around there. Yeah.
Even in the
professional realm?
Yep.
You get paid more in the high school realm, I believe.
Yep. It just depends. It just depends what job you land, how much experience you have, and
how much they're willing to pay you, basically.
Yeah. But that's the same, like, within the strength and conditioning realm too. Like,
I think trainers are definitely underpaid. Absolutely.
A lot of people, especially for the hours. I mean,
it's grueling hours,
yeah,
man.
It's grueling. And now during COVID, since there's no a lot of sports going on, and now they have to focus on cleaning and all these aspects of just like keeping everything sanitary. It's just adding on to their time.
That's like at LA Fitness. Remember, they wanted me to be there for miscellaneous stuff.
And they weren't going to pay you
They weren't going to pay me for that. They were like, you'll still get paid for your sessions, but we're going to need you here for, I forgot how many, X amount of hours to make calls, to clean, to whatever.
They're catering to people that they know are desperate.
Yeah, it was obvious, and I was just like, yeah, no,
because
I have
if that's your only job,
you have to do it.
You got to do it.
You have to do it.
For that
know
income.
that. They know that.
They're making you, because you should be thankful to have a job during this time. So it's like,
I think that's so shitty.
Trash.
Man.
That's why I was
it's fucked up.
You can go fuck yourself.
Straight up. No, yeah, definitely. It's fucked up, and it's shitty. But
so the hours were brutal. So when I got my master's, I was doing a graduate assistant position at St. Anthony's, so I had to do everything, and I was working a ton of hours as well.
Yeah, my sister remembers her.
St. Anthony's. What is it? What's the?
It's a. I don't know. Their jacket. Oh, it's a jacket.
Yellow jacket.
It's a yellow jacket. They don't do that.
Why is everything so like? Why is every mascot that you've gone to fly? Right?
Not St. Luke Rebels.
What was St. Gregory? What was St. Gregory's?
Chargers.
Wow. that's lame as fuck.
Yeah.
What were you?
Cardinals.
Fucking Flyers.
I mean, I guess.
Was that like a segue to UIW? Wasn't, right? It's his own thing. Okay, anyway, go on.
I don't remember where I was.
Wow, dude.
We were talking about at St. Anthony's.
Oh yeah. So I got my master's, and then I left St. Anthony's, and then I just was trying to find a job during that time, and I had no idea what to do. And I worked with the Alliance of American Football at the time. I did a rotation.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because this is a really, really good topic to actually get on, and it kind of falls in with what with everything that we're talking about. But
before you finish, when did Chaos Fit come into that?
Oh, I've been working there for like 5 years during college, my undergrad.
Okay.
So you were you actually coached the current owner of Teos.
How did you even like roll up on that place?
It's funny, my mom. What's funny is because my mom was working with Alexander Hutchinson, who was the owner at the time, and I needed a job, I needed a position, and he actually asked me, and I got it. So.
Let me say this. So, good segue again. You have basically every position you've been able to obtain so far has been through someone you know. Is that not?
Basically, yeah.
You have obtained a position by creating a connection with somebody in the past, and this person basically providing you with an opportunity to work and do a job.
Right, but I think it's also part of credibility.
Sure, absolutely, but that's credibility through the connections that you made as well.
Yes.
Which is big, because you've technically never interviewed for a job that you've obtained.
You've never interviewed?
No.
Wow, not even for the Air Force?
No. I knew somebody, and I built a lot of credibility
and I think it's
from
important,
them, and they helped me.
I think it's important to right, but I think it's important to get on that, because
it's not like the hands you shake, man. You gotta keep a.
It's more important to then not just apply to positions, but create connections.
Absolutely. It's
always, especially with the position of that tier.
Yeah.
Because you realize Exercise Physiologist, she's revamping the entire PT program in the Air Force.
Wait, so this is for this program you're implementing, is this for like the entirety of the Air Force, not just for like the San Antonio branches?
They're already blessing on it to be used throughout the whole BMT.
So think about
but
that.
also it wasn't just me, it was sports med and the doctors,
yeah.
the physicians, as well as
so
my
think
other
about that.
coworkers.
You have now created connections, and those are really good connections that have provided you with positions because they know you, and that's great. And I think that's how it should be implemented, rather than just going out and blindly applying for positions. Like now you've really created the idea that it's extremely important to create connections. And I think that because of who you are, like how authentic and how humble you are as a person, you were able to obtain those positions and ultimately build on them and make newer connections, which is great.
It's really also about going above and beyond for people, like if you're working hard and they see that, then that's how you build that. That's how you build that credibility. That's how you build that.
And that's the problem with a lot of people that don't want to do that, man.
Right.
People will tend to do the bare minimum and then just say, all right, that's it.
I'm just kidding.
But here's the thing. So you put yourself in these positions to work with these people that are willing to like notice those things.
It's not so much the case.
It's not so much the case where like we've been in our job, like we're like you work your ass off and they're just like, oh, thanks,
no,
and then take
we
credit.
We did that.
It's insane the amount of times that I've done things for my boss. Like I've had like that one night. You were still in the call center,
bro. We legit packaged boxes as a warehouse.
I story where I worked 20. I think I've said this before. I worked 24 hours. I worked like 20 hours straight, and I stayed up all night.
Yes. And you had to bring up the.
My boss came in one morning, and he said, "Hey, we need I need you to make this catalog." And we're on a conference. He just like walked me into a conference call, and they're like, "Yeah, we need it by tomorrow, and meeting's at 9." And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, he's like, "Is that doable?" And I remember like he was like, "Is that doable?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess."
And you had just been promoted at that time, right?
I was like 2 weeks into this job, and he was like, "Yeah, okay, so it needs to be done." They're like, "Okay, well, we need 190 pages. I need you to put all the items on the pages. We want all the color schemes. I want all the sizes. Everything." It was like this massive Excel sheet. And I was like, he was like, can you do this? And I was like, man, I've never paginated an entire catalog. Are you insane? So I kind of like winged it, but I had to work. I worked all night. I was starting at like 9 a.m. I worked all the way through the night. I didn't go home. I went home for a little bit, but I worked through the night. Gave it to Kevin, and then Kevin slapped his name on it and gave it to them as if it was his. And I was like, bro, come on. That was when I noticed that company. I was like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to reward you for shit. They're going to take,
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing you also got to be aware of is people just taking advantage of you.
Yeah. So where do you find the balance?
I mean, I think she puts
Between
herself...
getting taken advantage of and kind of like going above and beyond. Like,
you just got to have that intuition, man. You have to know.
Well, like, think about it. That was my first real job out of college. So, of course, I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell you no. Like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's always in the back of your head. You're like, all right, I'm going to go above and beyond for these people. But in the back of your head, you got to realize, like, you can't be taken advantage of.
True. It's true.
So...
That's why you kind of. I learned to just kind of like.
That's.
We were taken advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people at that company were taken advantage of.
I mean, there was even a point where I had to clean out an entire storage closet filled with 60, 70-pound boxes of catalogs that were 13, 14, 15 years old.
Which so happened that I called in that day, so I didn't help.
Which just so happened, it was on a Friday, and Elijah said, "Fuck it, I'm staying home."
I was actually sick.
And he was actually sick, and my ass got to fucking empty the whole storage unit. I literally did the whole storage unit.
You sent me a picture of your hands, and I was like, bro, that's nasty.
All of them were covered in fucking black dust and shit
There's
from
no
like
doubt,
rats.
Because we used to go in that closet just to fuck around, and like there were catalogs in there from like the 90s.
Yes.
I mean, like from the fucking.
And you guess what I had to do? I had to determine which ones were most recent. So inside of the boxes, they weren't closed boxes. They were open, which means there were different yeared catalogs placed in the boxes. So there were some way in the bottom that were like 2020, and then the other ones would be like fucking 1992.
And you made him go through.
And I had to go through each one to see which ones were still relevant.
Remember when he did that? We had to do that with the clothes too. Remember we had to scan. We had to go through each tag and see which ones were from like 2018, 2019.
And that's where we got all the clothes from.
True, but still, like that
I think that's a good payoff.
But then again,
I mean, yeah, true. We got all that stuff.
It also comes to the point of whether your leadership or your boss is good boss or a bad boss. It's just one of those things.
I don't think our boss is bad. I think it stems upwards. Because it's not really him. He does some questionable things, but like it's upwards. It's not really. There's some things that you're like, well, that wasn't really like your call.
There was a pretty
Anyway,
but it can
go either
debatable.
way. It can go either way.
But anyways,
the cool thing is she's put herself in contact with a lot of people that are pretty.
But I think she's a perfect example of somebody who
takes advantage of connecting with people.
Right, but also goes above and beyond, and above and beyond works.
True.
And that has shown, and she has been able to move to the next level.
I think in the right setting, going above and beyond is always going to pay off.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, no question. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so I guess what people really want to know is, obviously we brought up the topic of, maintaining. Man, my stomach's about to rumble. I'm already getting hungry. Anyways, you can feel it. I feel like the mic's gonna pick it up. Okay. Anyways, no, but I think a lot of people would love to get an idea of how you've been able to keep yourself so sane, especially throughout, the pandemic and people getting sent to Lackland.
Yeah, because Lackland was
was basically the epicenter. Right? Yeah. You work full time, you exercise, you eat right, you built a business as well. Like, how have you just been able? Like, do you recommend people do the same thing? And how have you been able to just manipulate your time and schedule to just do all those things and still be where you are today, loving your job, loving your work?
So honestly, I chalk up my time management to my clinicals, and I chalk it up to how I've been forced to deal with trying to find a social life in college. Mm-hmm. So I think that background and just that aspect of it has helped me develop a little bit more time management. Mm-hmm. As far as stress, everybody's going to be stressed. Especially with COVID. Yeah. Seeing jobs and all that fun stuff. But, during that time, I was pretty stressed when COVID hit in like March, and probably the most stressed that I've been in a hot minute. Because I don't know, I'm around 2,000 people and everybody's breathing on each other. I'm outside. At that time, I was working as an athletic trainer at Lackland, but now my position moved to exercise physiologist, so I don't see that many people. But at that time, I was around like 2,000 people.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was roughly 50 people. We do alternative cardio for injured people, so we have like 50 or so people at the bikes. So we monitor the bikes, and everybody's touching everything. Everybody's breathing on each other. You know, they had to cut their shirts to make a mask. Like,
that's crazy. I mean, at that point, it's kind of hard. You can't even contain it if you have all that. If you have that many people in one room, can you even contain it? If they had it, I mean.
And then at the time too, my coworker, he was worried for his family, so he ended up leaving, and so I had to bring in another coworker to come help me, and there was just mass chaos. So I was stressed out. My family was stressed out. They didn't know what was going on, and my sister was up in New York. My brother was in San Marcos, not too far from where we are, but you know, it's a lot of confusion. I mean, I think everybody was confused and stressed at that time. And then the gym started to close, and that's another rough one. But, you know, to deal with all this stress, me personally, it's a lot of just working out. And I think that actually helps my mental health a lot more than a lot of things. I mean, there's people that will do, you know, play guitar, play an instrument, or like, you know, go out for a run.
Just watch TV, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways.
It's just about finding time for
their own.
I think it's more so about finding time for your mental sanity and finding time for yourself.
Yeah. So would you recommend people prioritize that time?
Like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Is there such a better question would be, is there such a thing? And we hit on this pretty often, but is there such a thing as working too much, do you think? Yeah,
you don't want to burn out, but you also have to know where that line is.
Like, would you agree with somebody that were to work 5 to 10 years, bust their ass, and then take a break? Or do you recommend working 5 to 10 years, but taking breaks in between and giving yourself rest in between that time?
That's a big one we always talk about.
We always hit on it, but I always like to get perspective on it.
For me personally, I would like to work and just take breaks in between, man. Like, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping people. You know, I enjoy my job. Yeah. And a lot of people can't say that.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different story, though. So if you thoroughly enjoy your job, it's different. There's people that are working jobs that they fucking hate, and it's a whole other thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, Kurt's different. She loves what she does, so I mean, she may never get tired of it.
Yeah, I enjoy what I do. You know, I enjoy helping people, especially those that have never done anything fitness related. If they can take that with them, I change their life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I like to take breaks in between. I mean, you always need to have time for your sanity.
Vacation.
Vegas, I love Vegas.
Yes.
So it's just about just finding that time.
Which reminds me, you need to come to Vegas with us.
It's just about finding that time, man.
Gotta find December, dude. I'd be down for December. But yeah, we actually just recently scheduled a trip to Portland, Oregon. Yeah. So obviously, like, we love to hike. So I mean, you know, it's physical exercise as well as, you know, being able to travel someplace and just go someplace and do something. So, which is good.
I mean, yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
My question, so you said that, you know, you didn't work out a whole lot when you were going to school and stuff. So, like, now you're a CSCS. So, and now y'all have a fitness business together. Mm-hmm. So what led to, like, you going, like, the fitness route? Because you were pretty into athletic training, so what made you kind of go that way?
I like sports medicine. I love what I do. I love just looking at injuries, rehab. And I think the rehab aspect of it and the strengthening aspect of it really brought my attention towards that route.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Oh, yeah. So I love... And when I put those two things together, it can create something awesome. Like, you want to help with an ACL repair, you can go through the first stages of rehab, and then the last stages of rehab, they're able to be strengthened, and they develop a better sport. They're better in their position as a player. So I think seeing that and seeing the outcomes of that is very important. Me personally, I like to work on myself. I always like to make myself better. So just the strength and conditioning aspect of it, my own goals helps me get through and helps me. Like, I want to reach my goals. I need to have some time for myself, so I'll go work out and do what I got to do. Mm-hmm.
I also think it's pretty fulfilling. Like, I remember you telling me stories, like, you would work with some of these kids, and they would literally come up to you and cry, thanking you for literally fixing, like, their run form and fixing, like, their health or whatever it is, like, legit crying to you.
Well, because the military, I mean, it's their job. It's what they got to do. And there's people that have nothing, and they will go into the military because it is their last option. Yeah. So, you know, you want to do everything that you can do in your power to get these kids through. You know, and there's times where they may need to go be holed over for a little bit, but as you can get them through, and then, you know, for their sake, get them on a better path. That's what
That's what's being a good coach. I mean, it's like changing people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, bad coaches don't give two shits, and they're just like whatever.
And coaches are the same way. I mean, you have those kids that don't get a lot of attention at home, and they like to do an outlet in sports, and coaches can be that powerful figure.
Yeah, you basically become like a father figure to some of these kids. I feel like,
or even teachers, like
or mother figure in a female. But
everybody, if you have potential at your job to change a lifestyle and a life, then by all means do it. And I think if you love what you're doing, and if you want to go out and take some time for yourself, go hiking, go gambling, do whatever. I mean, you need some time.
Gambling's a little.
You need some time to de-stress, get lit, relax.
But don't overdo the gambling.
Don't overdo the gambling or the get lit part. But you still want to have time for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Let's also hit the idea that you were female.
Yeah.
So, how has being a female affected your work and affected being a coach? Like, you don't think of a strength coach being female. How do you feel about strength coaches being implemented within, the higher realms, like not just a lower level, elementary school realm, but also within like professional sports, Yeah,
I've seen a lot of more female trainers.
Coaches. Like, how has that been for you? How has the experience affected your work and your job?
So I think now, especially since it's 2020, and even from like 2013 and up, I mean, like, females in male dominant activities have been growing, and they continue to grow. I mean, there's females trying to get into infantry and all that fun stuff. And, like, we're very, very powerful, and I think people are now just kind of seeing that, like, okay, they can do.
Which is but it is sad, but at the same time, it's good that it's taking this long. Yeah, I mean, amongst a whole bunch of other issues.
Times have been different, and it's awesome that it's changing. But in my position, me personally, like, I don't see any sort of difference, because there are females in the military, with power, and there's females, especially in the Air Force, with power. And there's been the first female this, first female that. I follow this forum on Facebook called Air Force, like NCO and whatever, and they show updated stuff, and I see that all the time. So it's, for me, I don't see a difference between my coworker's a male. I don't see a difference between him and me as far as power-wise, or as far as who's respecting who. I think they just ultimately respect us for our knowledge and our input, which
is how it should be.
Yeah. And it's not so much it's not so much of a gender thing as it is just a respectful thing.
Gotcha. So that's good. Like, I'm honestly thankful that I feel like even for certain kids that are looking to get coached, damn, that's really important. Looking to get coached, like, I think honestly some people are thankful to have a female as a coach as opposed to a male. Maybe they resonate with a female more so than with a male.
Yeah.
Even like I feel like if you were to just have like a single gender coach you're missing out on maybe some different aspects on how to approach a game or how to approach a sport, or things that maybe a female thinks of that a male doesn't think of.
What's funny? Never in my entire life have I had a female coach. I've always had male coaches.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Have you had a female coach?
No. Have you?
Oh, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Other than like a fitness coach, like to coach me in fitness, but like I've been coached. Well, I mean, I guess I was coached by Krystal, or like Big Krystal on our, like, for our class, but being legitimately coached for sport, no, it's gonna be male. Especially for male predominant sports.
The head coach is mainly in like basketball, football. It's mainly a male figure, especially in professional sports.
But even like with the San Francisco Giants, they got that female first base coach, right?
What?
Yes, she's been coaching.
They also, the San Francisco, the football team.
49ers got a coach too.
Yeah.
The Giants too, man.
I don't remember her name, but yeah.
The Giants, the San Francisco Giants have a first base coach, and she's female.
Yeah.
And she's been coaching.
Wow.
Which is awesome to see. It's awesome to see that this is, we're actually taking a step in the right direction.
And she was like an Olympic softball player.
Well, they have, what's her name? Mendoza's a Sunday Night Baseball host, and she analyzes the game with.
Oh yeah. She's very well known.
But same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Different. She's analyzing baseball just as much.
But it's kind of crazy how the female coaches are being implemented at the professional level right away.
Becky Hammond's
Becky Hammond's another one, and you think about that, it's like nuts, bro. Like not even within high school and college is that really like being implemented yet.
I am hoping when Pop retires, he puts her as head coach, man, because that would be so cool to see.
I forgot somebody wants him to go coach. I forgot it was in Philadelphia. Someone's apparently going to offer him.
It's Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
The Nets, because Kevin Durant wants to play for Pop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, why don't you just come to San Antonio, bro?
Yeah.
I'll buy
Hey, Kevin, if you're
jersey.
listening, come to San Antonio, bro. I'll buy a t-shirt.
I'll buy a fucking jersey.
They're going to offer him, so if he takes it, then...
That's just a rumor. But at the same time, like, even now for the Spurs, she's got the experience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's got the experience. And I think...
That would be wild, though.
You would be seeing history, man. Like, for years.
It's going to be a big deal.
For years. Like, that has been just... You know, that's never been done before. And so I think that's incredibly amazing that, you know, now you're in a position where you're doing strength and gait training, and now, you know, you're seeing all across the board females taking getting male predominant spots in sports and exercise and fitness and strength and conditioning and athletic training. Like, it's crazy. And I think it's great. I think it's, you know, it provides an opportunity to gather insight from a completely different gendered person.
Yeah.
And male and female don't think the same, obviously. We're always fucking arguing. So it's like, if you can approach a game one way and a female approaches it the other, imagine the opportunities that are created through that ability to have certain emotions towards a game, certain mental capabilities, physical capabilities that, you know, were only predominant amongst a certain gender. And now you've created the opportunity of having two of those genders present. And I think that's, you know, overlooked a lot of times. But, you know, now you're seeing it in professional sports. It's like, wow, I wonder how this is going to affect the game of a baseball player or a football player, you know. I wonder how this is going to affect the way they approach the game, you know, respecting people, you know, on and off the field. Like, now you've got a female around in the, I mean, hell, we were at the Alliance of American Football back when it was back going on, and we were in the locker rooms, bro. And Krystal was in there in the locker rooms, dude. There's like half naked dudes in there, and like, you know, they come up to her and respect the fuck. Yeah. I mean, sure, she was facing the other way, but I mean, they were walking by her and respecting the fuck out of her. Like, every guy was coming up to you and just like, oh my gosh, she's back, blah, blah. We were in Memphis giving high fives and hugs, and it's just like, man, like,
they treat me. They almost treat you like
another coach,
like a coach, or they'll treat you like a little sister. Yeah, because they're taller than you, and they like to look at you and like pat you on the head and stuff like that.
Yeah,
just because I'm short, but it's
I think that's good. I think that's good. Obviously, like, of course, like, I heard some other problems that obviously ensued with like sexual assault allegations amongst females and stuff like that. Like, that can definitely be an issue.
Yeah, that's might never happen until it's, you know, changed at home, but
that's a whole different issue.
That's a whole different issue.
That's a whole different issue. But you always have that. You know, does that scare you as a coach?
You know, all the
working
time.
with trainees
you just have to be
stuff?
aware. You just have to be aware and know, you know, what you're doing, and then you tell them like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, try and resist you. Is that okay? And then they're like, yeah. You just have to verify that they're understanding what you're gonna do and what your intent is.
Yeah.
It's mainly the only thing. Like, but I don't know.
Verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta verify. You just gotta make sure, like, hey, I'm gonna
give you a groin stretch. Is it okay if I touch your leg right here, bro? All right. Like, I mean, isn't that like?
Hey, don't touch me, dude.
Yeah.
What if they're like, hey, don't touch me? I don't want you to touch me there.
I'd be like, okay, it's almost like a consent sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
Just gotta speak, project your voice, let them know what your intentions are, and just go from there.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I like the idea of that being implemented nowadays. I think it's great. I think we need to move forward with that and push that agenda even more. How have you been able to balance our company with your full-time position? You see what I did there?
I did see it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
Congratulations.
thank you. But like, no. Okay. So for people who want to start a side business, side hustle, all those sorts of things, like, you know, you love your job, you love your 9 to 5. I mean, what you would consider a quote unquote 9 to 5 job, day job. Do you recommend people starting a side business, a side hustle, you know, a side hobby? And how would you recommend, you know, for people that haven't started one, like what are some of the things that you like to implement, or one of the reasons maybe why you started a side business?
I think first and foremost, you're gonna want to start one, right? There's people that always talk about it and they never really do anything about it just because like they don't really want it, right?
Yeah,
So it's just about you want to do that. And if you do, you'll find some time to create things. And you know, for me, we do online training, so it's easier for me to do since I have a full-time job. But
I also think, I'll stop you right there, it's important that you're created an online job, because the internet is endless possibilities.
But with technology,
you've now created an opportunity for yourself to be able to. Sorry, I had to like. Oh, it's making me burp, man. It says like the carbonation. You know, it's got carbonation.
Hey, we drink carbonated drinks, bro. Okay.
I just got to burp, man. I just got to talk. Okay,
Just a freak.
but what I'm saying is, like, it makes it easier for you to do your job during the day because you do your work online.
And I think also balance is mainly what I do throughout work. Like I'm working with people on their fitness with work in general. So I enjoy that. That's why I do that. So if it's something you enjoy and something you want to continue on and do and go above and beyond for people, that's me. Like
You're doing that outside the doors
to do it
of work.
outside. I want to do it on my own. I want to do it with people, change people that I know, help them change their lives. You know, and just continue then and move on.
Yeah. Is it hard to balance both of those things?
For me, no. For me, it's I work technically a 9 to 5. I technically work at 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's 8 hours. But like, for me, as soon as I'm out of work, I do what I need to do. I go to the gym, and then I go home, and I have all that off time at home, where I could be sleeping or doing whatever. But I'd rather watch TV or whatever. But I'd play Ball Guys. Freaking hate that game. But I'd rather work on my computer and help people. If I know that I'm changing lives as opposed to sleeping,
it outweighs.
I feel
it definitely outweighs.
That's better, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard. Like once you're getting to that point, like.
Well, the other thing is she's been used to that life for years now. So
yeah.
And just doing shit all day, every day. So it's like.
And I think the best way to do that is if you're motivated about it, you'll find time. You'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think
not to mention it provides you an opportunity to make a little side income too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you wanna have income from different sources and enjoy doing that at the same time, find time. Just work on it. Mm-hmm. It's the best way to just continue to. It's
also great that you don't have to physically be anywhere other than online.
You can do it from anywhere.
You can do it from anywhere.
You can literally sit down on the couch, watch TV, and type up and do whatever you need to do. Or hell, if you're a designer like my sister or a painter, watch TV and you can paint. You can focus. You want to listen to music, paint, listen to music, draw, whatever. It's just trying to find time for both things.
I think it's also trying to make time.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
If you're that busy,
yeah.
You can find 10 minutes a day, 5 to 10 minutes a day to write down
work on a craft.
Or something.
Yeah.
And that'll also help you de-stress if it's something you like to do.
De-stress, hobby, and get paid. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah. Help your mental aspect of it too.
Yeah. I find writing programs therapeutic, honestly.
Yeah. Some people find writing music. Some people find programs.
Like I'll listen to music while I write programs, and it gets me dialed in.
Yeah, there you go.
The only time I struggle is when Elijah's trying to talk to me and I get pissed off.
But I don't try to talk to you. You just get on my nerves.
Okay. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, I honestly find it therapeutic, to go through those things, and obviously it took us a long time to figure out how to get to that point. Luckily there's that availability to do those things because of certain softwares that are available nowadays, certain applications, those sorts of things that are available online.
And I think now during COVID, it's like if you're at home, you're working from home, you can take a break, whatever. If you can take a break, do something, and then go back to work. You're working from home. Figure out what you got to do, man.
I think rest is big too. You gotta rest. Like sleep. I think sleep's huge, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep. I sent you that thing today about sleep, bro.
Yeah, what time do I normally go to bed?
Pretty early, 9:30.
I'm a grandma.
I was telling him yesterday. I was telling him this morning. I was like, I couldn't sleep after we played Fall. I can't. I'm legit not gonna play Fall.
Let me tell you something about Fall Guys.
Before I go to sleep,
my heart rate exceeds 180 beats per minute,
bro.
And then I cannot sleep for like an hour and a
I
half.
was trying to sleep yesterday. And I couldn't help but see, like, close my eyes and see these little fuckers running around, and the fucking music is playing. I'm like,
I know. I'll fall asleep with the song,
sleep, bro. That fucking song is just going in my ears.
and then in my head, I'll be laying down, and it'll be like you know how you're like half asleep.
It's almost like a nightmare if you get hit
And then
by
like
that fan.
yeah, and then you feel like you're about to jump off of something, you're like shaking like
I
fuck.
don't do that. I'm not in their bodies.
But you're trying to win the game, coach.
Just watching them all get
happening.
slapped by those things and
Pop melatonin.
it's fucking with my head.
Drink some whiskey. Go to bed.
I think melatonin's dangerous,
It's not dangerous. It's
but
it's
not
powerful.
actually dangerous. But it could be dangerous in the
It's
sense that you
powerful.
become reliable on it.
No, it's not real.
Because
It's
Krystal
scientific.
becomes. You rely on
Do you
it.
really?
I don't rely on milk. No, I can sleep. There's just some times where I'm just like, I can't.
How often do you
fucking
take?
sleep.
How often do you take melatonin per week?
A week?
CBD.
I would say like 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how tired I am.
I took you up on your thing. You're like, you're not going to be able to. So I bought a bottle like a couple months ago, and I did it. I finished it consecutively every single night, and I went to sleep without it just fine. So
Well, that's good.
I mean, I feel fine.
But
I can sleep.
everybody's
I
different.
can nap too.
Everybody is different.
true.
Every
True.
body, like
What's that thing that you
bodies
hate
are
to see?
different.
What's that thing you hate to see where it's like, even if we all ate the same and worked out the same, we'd all look different.
That's a whole different story. That's
But it's still
validation
funny.
to
It's
still be
funny,
fat.
bro. It's still funny.
That's validation to still be
I
fat.
can't stand that shit. Have you seen that post?
I have seen
I
that.
showed
I'm
it.
like, yo, get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, I know what it's trying to say, and I know what it's trying to
You
mean.
get the general purpose behind it,
But it's
the
because-
people that are posting it
Are the people that are
Right.
saying that if I'm gonna look different anyways, why should I exercise? It's like that's
Find
not
some-
quite the
logic.
point.
Find some time to exercise, work on your health. Fun fact.
please.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you for coming.
I like what we talked about. I think you brought up a lot of good points. I think it's important for people to get. I've been talking, and I told Elijah this too. It's like the reason I wanted to have you on is because I talk about doing things that I enjoy right now. I mean, I've been out of a day job, quote unquote, since March, right? And I've tried to put as much use of my time as possible to things I actually really want to do. But you, on the other side, you've been working through this whole thing. And I think it's good to get perspectives like, well, he's out of work, he has time to do this. But now there's no more excuse. Like, you've been doing work all day long. You exercise, you eat right, and you continue to scale the business, right?
It's a grind.
And it's a grind. And you still manage to get your social life together and your sleep together, when you can, of course. But I think now you've created the opportunity for people to know that there's not really an excuse anymore.
No, and I think it comes first and foremost. You want to do what you love. You don't want to be forced into like a desk job that you hate, slave.
Team Express.
Hey.
Like you want you want to do what you love and just find a routine and find a routine, moving you eat healthy. Do like what I do is it's hard for me to make breakfast in the morning because I wake up so freaking early.
Make it the night before.
Yeah, my mom and actually helps me too. But we boil some eggs and then I'll make some overnight oats and with protein in it, so I have food.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll bring a little bit of snackies, and then I will make my own lunch and eat my lunch. So it's just you can choose healthier options in a quicker pace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are always like, oh, I don't have time to eat that shit. Or, like, get healthy. Like, eat healthy.
Honestly,
And it's
I think healthier options are
A lot
easier
easier.
to obtain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so as well. I think that's
It's
just an
cheaper, too.
excuse. And it's cheaper. Yeah, I totally agree. Unless you buy this expensive ass pistachios, bro. Fuck. Pistachios are expensive as fuck.
And I think once you find that rhythm, and it may take a month, a couple weeks. Once you find that rhythm, everything becomes natural. It becomes
Kinda just falls
easier.
into
Yeah.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just gotta force yourself the first 2 weeks to just really grind and do what you got to do, and then it just becomes almost like clockwork, you know.
And like every day you're learning too. I
Yeah.
feel like each week I find like a new snack that like happens to fit my time realm, where I'm able to like eat the snack and like
Time realm.
yeah, like my schedule and time, because I can't always cook something.
Sure.
But you make a snack and it's still healthy for you. Like
Time realm. I'm gonna start saying that.
time realm.
Time realm.
Yes.
I-
In my time realm.
I think it's harder to get fast food through a drive-through than it would be to just
Eat like a yogurt with like
Why don't you just
granola.
warm up some rice and then grab a tuna packet and then just eat. That's all you got, right?
And it's like what, less than $1 for both of those items?
They actually sell tuna packets like this big.
In bulk,
Be
for, like,
careful
$5.
though; you don't want to eat it every day. But you know, you can also get like warmed up chicken if you don't have time. Just plop some
Those are
grilled
the things we
chicken.
used to get at Team Express. We used to get that big chicken.
Yeah, she
5
eats those.
seconds.
Yeah, I eat those.
5
You
seconds.
just warm up the rice, warm up the chicken, get a little bit of frozen vegetables, warm that up too. You're good to go.
There you go. Done.
You know, that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
all
And
you
some good sauce. You need some good sauce.
Then reward yourself with like a little bit piece of chocolate at the end, and you're good to go.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate,
Chocolate.
not milk
Dark
chocolate.
chocolate's actually good for you, man.
Good. I know it's good for you.
Makes you
So
happy.
That makes you happy.
Yeah, it has like a specific,
I knew that it was.
It
good
also
for
helps
you.
with
Hormone.
digestion.
Yes.
Yes.
Helps you with
It's good for
digestion.
you.
but it has a specific hormone in there that increases happiness.
CBD.
No.
Probably
Not
get
CBD.
CBD infused chocolate.
How do you feel about CBD?
How do
Yes.
I feel about CBD?
Yes.
This
I was
is
just
such an off-topic thing.
But is it?
Time. It is shitting
I
outside.
don't know.
It's been shitting.
I mean,
been shitty.
CBD is fine. I don't mind it.
Do you think it works? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Would you try CBD?
Would I
Have
try?
you tried
I've
CBD?
had CBD before, yes, but
Oh, here we go.
I don't know,
I say-
man.
I
I think it helps you calm the mind and it helps
Thank you. That's
do
what
stuff,
I
but
use.
it doesn't
It's
help
relaxing.
with
It's not intoxicating.
injury. It doesn't help with injury. I don't
See, I don't
think
think that. I think it's more of a mental thing. It helps
it's
relax.
very.
So it's placebo?
No.
As far, it's not going to help your injury, but it's
I
going to
think-
help you relax.
I think
you
what
know?
they're doing is they're turning it into like this miracle drug, but it's not that. It's not going to ail every single thing wrong with you. I think it'll relax you if you
I
eat
think
it, smoke it, whatever.
I think what's bullshit is you get like the drops and you wipe it.
Yeah, that's trash.
That's bullshit.
That's not going to work.
I don't know. That one guy came up to me after the gym. He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm a sucker for CBD oil. I just rub it on my wrist and my ankle pain went away."
Seems legit.
That's trash.
But he was being serious.
I mean, he could probably. I mean,
Or maybe he
he was
just
being
maybe he just healed.
maybe he just had an acute, ankle injury, and then all of a sudden
He said his ankle has been hurting him for months.
Tell me that he
Put
rubbed
CBD
it
on his ankle.
wrist, and
On his wrist.
ankle felt better.
Why does some guy come up to you in the gym and tell you that?
I forgot it was some guy that used to work out at Tejas Fit, but he was coming from UIW, and he was like, "Yeah, I just put a little sprinkle of razzle dazzle, and then
Razzle
and then he was
dazzle.
good."
Oh, okay, because I would have been like, if I'm mid-set and someone walked up to me and
No,
just
no,
told
no,
me that,
no.
I'd be like,
I was waiting for a
CBD
class.
on your wrist. Cures your whole
And
body.
then
No,
just
I was waiting to
freaking walked
teach a
away?
class.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, he was from UIW. He was one of the guys that used to work at Tejas Fit. That Krystal knew. Krystal was there. He was like, "Oh, I was just dropping by," and he's like, "Oh, y'all got that CBD stuff?" Yeah, man. I had this ankle pain for months. I put a little bit of it, that oil on my wrist. I don't know, man. My body's just a sucker for CBD, and
I don't know, man. If it works on you, it works on you. I don't think it's.
Works. Not for pain, for relaxation, absolutely.
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I was just curious to get your input on that
Yeah.
because
I
it's
use
coming
it.
up. It's a big thing.
It's a big thing. I use it every day.
There's something else I'd rather say, but I can't say that here. So,
Why not?
well, I was just gonna say, if you just want to relax, just smoke weed.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
I don't think it's,
Well, they're supposed to
that's
legalize
the thing. We've had this topic a lot. It's like
smoke weed.
Well,
there's
they're
such a
past.
negative- there's such a negative stigma around it that it's not.
But yes, that's a big thing. But I mean, they're looking at actually passing this thing
It's gonna make it, bro.
on
It's gonna make
the
it national.
national level.
Yeah, we were looking at
However, it still needs to get
by
passed
state.
by
It's
each
just not
state.
gonna happen. Well, see, my thing is like if it's gonna go if it's a national thing,
It doesn't matter.
fuck the states, bro.
It doesn't matter because the states have to implement it.
This is true. Whatever.
And Mr. Abbott is relatively conservative. I'm not siding here or there, but he's just a conservative guy.
If weed is legal and you want to relax, just smoke weed.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Agreed.
Unless you have like paranoia, schizophrenic type of
Oh, yeah.
trips
Say
and
that.
shit.
Does that really
That
happen?
happens
Yeah,
all the
that happens
time.
all the
I've
time.
never experienced
All
that.
the time. You never smoked weed.
It happens all the time.
I've never smoked weed.
I don't think you've smoked weed.
I've known a bunch of people that's happened to.
It's happened to a lot of people. lots of people. And I think it runs genetically. But even Joe Rogan was saying, like, yeah, bro, sometimes I smoke weed.
with the edibles you said, right? He said
and he's like, I eat the edibles because it makes me feel scared. Like, there are some times I'm just like, I'm scared. Like, because I have, like, anxiety.
Yeah, see, that's weird, though, because, like, he trips on, like, some crazy
He
shit.
does.
That dude scares
But
me.
even then, he says that even with marijuana, sometimes he has, like, almost anxiety attacks. And he kind of enjoys that feeling of being scared in a weird kind of fucking way. He's a weird fucker.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah, he's a weird fucker, but still, like, he says that.
Belongs in Austin.
Well, yeah, well, he was no. Anyways,
Weird dude.
but yeah, he was saying that even with him, he experiences like crazy ass shit with weed sometimes. It's not just the high, bro. You know.
Yeah, whatever.
My friends were gonna start this podcast called Stoned and Snacking.
Oh Jesus!
You know my friends. You know which ones I'm talking about, and I wish they would. That'd be really funny.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, Stoned and Snacking.
Well, you were gonna start a podcast though, right?
I don't know.
Talk to us about that.
I don't know.
You were about to start a podcast though.
Don't be shy. We're gonna start.
Well, I know a bunch of people, so I was.
This is
We
true.
could probably do like a Zoom with a bunch of different other people.
She knows professional
Athletics and-
Dude, she met Troy Polamalu.
By accident.
It's a big motherfucker.
Did you tell him that story? That's a funny
Yeah, I
ass
already
story.
told them the story.
Well, okay, but the podcast doesn't know the story.
Oh.
We're on a. He knows the
I heard the
story.
story, but
He
no, it
he
doesn't.
stopped
podcast
by
has-
at practice one time when I was with the Alliance, and he
He came up behind you and said, "You want?"
he wanted
hey.
water. Yeah, he wanted water. So I said, okay, and I gave him a little thing of
And then
water.
he reached in his back pocket and held you, gave you some Head and Shoulders, right?
No,
Why do you always say that when the story's being
it's
told?
not. That's like the fifth time I've heard you
Because he's a Head and Shoulders.
say
I
that.
know. I
Anyway,
know.
I didn't recognize him because he had his hair in a bun. I was whatever, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, hi, my name's Troy Polamalu," and I was like, "Oh shit, it's freaking Troy Polamalu I just gave water to." And he's like, "Thank you." Puts the water back and walks off. That was my interaction.
So he didn't even take the water?
No, like he drank it, put it
Oh.
back, and walked off.
Oh,
I didn't even recognize him
it's crazy.
at the time. So.
Anyways, your podcast idea.
Oh yeah, podcast.
Yeah. Well, now that Zoom and whatever and people are off, I can see if I can get in contact with people and see if they would want to talk about like
Football players.
like athletics and just
Be cool.
what
I'd
they've
tune
been
in.
doing during this process since gym has been closed and like parks have been closed.
I would listen.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
it seems interesting, honestly.
Especially with professional athletes. Like Mike Stud always gets those professional athletes.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting.
Especially
Like, to hear
the
from those
ones that
guys.
are actually trying to move up to the NFL and move up to
Yeah,
like
but see,
the
that's a
level
different
two.
perspective. That'd be interesting.
Mhm.
So
That's what I said,
and
man.
they deal with a ton. They deal with a ton of stuff. So
Well,
Yeah.
you got a very nice mic, so
yeah,
Do
people that don't know,
this is
I've
actually
been,
my mic.
I've been
Fun
borrowing
fact.
Krystal's mic, and we were using her.
And he was
interface.
gonna make me use that one.
He was gonna hoe her.
No,
Yeah.
I was like, nah.
You were gonna hoe her.
Yeah.
Elijah.
She didn't ask. You were gonna hoe her. You were gonna
Yeah.
I was just gonna set it up because it already set up.
He's
But then you asked me, I was
such a
like, okay,
liar.
just use
This
it.
was actually set up this way.
It was set up that way
Uh-huh.
because I've been using
No.
it, and I was like, I'll just use it. And then you're like, well, it's my mic, and I was like, okay, that's fine. You can just use it. I'll just use this one. That's technically my mic.
They're all your mics. I don't have one.
It's true.
They're all
Anyway,
yours.
Anyways, I've been hoed. For people that don't know, I've been hoed.
Oh, you've been hoed.
Yes.
By what?
Take my mic.
yeah,
Being a big baby right now.
he sucks at slime climb.
Oh, slime climb.
I was close, man.
Let's not get started on slime climb. I'm gonna have some
Slime climb.
PTSD.
No one can pass slime. That was a one-time
I
deal.
passed.
That's why I couldn't sleep. Because slime
It was a
climb's
one-time
fucking
deal.
with my head.
That was a one-time deal. Crystals went on
You
something.
know, the funny thing is that you were right there and you fucked it up.
At least I got right there, Elijah.
I've been there.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
Nope.
I have.
What happened?
Timed out.
That's such a.
You were on the game with me.
You are trash.
This guy.
Add me on PSN, Longhorn Central.
No.
Play Fall Guys.
No.
Big ass group.
No.
Mhm. That's what I'm saying.
Imagine if you got a whole lobby of people.
That's what I've been trying to do.
60 people.
Okay. The game can't take 60 people, guys. It's only 40.
Well, technically the lobby holds 60
The
people.
lobby
So.
holds 60. Think about it. If you get 60, it's like a massive amount of people in one party,
Let's do it.
and you put them all.
Imagine having a Zoom party, but it was Fall Guys.
Bro.
Like, all right, I'm on a birthday party, but we're all gonna play Fall Guys instead, and we can talk. That'd be badass. I would do it.
Like have everybody on a Zoom call while you're playing Fall Guys.
No. Like you're legitimately on the game, playing Fall Guys. Like you don't have to Zoom, but just like be on Fall Guys. with everybody.
Like a Twitch stream.
No, it doesn't have to stream it though. Just everybody's playing, and that's your party.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
What the hell is this guy talking
I don't
about?
know. I was just staring at the camera the whole time.
This, dude?
Huh?
Have you been using it?
No.
Anyways, you're talking some weird shit.
I'm just saying that we can hold a party on Fall Guys. I'm so fucking weird about that. Okay.
I guess.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
What were you saying?
No, nothing. I just said, what are we, 5? Christ. What is this, Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, you alright, man? You okay? Your feelings are hurt.
Alright.
trying to
No,
have a
no,
good
go
time.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you gotta ask her about our 50th episode. That would be a good idea. Get trashed.
Yeah. What do you think we
and
should
come
do for
on
our
the
50th
podcast.
episode? Fall Guys.
No, we're not gonna Fall Guys.
We're gonna stream Fall Guys.
while we're trashed.
No. Just stream
We
Fall
need to
Guys for the
get
50th
trashed.
episode, and we'll have a
We need to do that
podcast
too.
on Fall Guys. We'll Twitch stream it, and it'll be our podcast episode.
Well,
But while we're playing Fall
That'd be
Guys,
actually kind of fun. Actually, trying to talk, have a conversation.
we're gonna have a conversation, but we're playing Fall Guys at the same time.
I think we should play beer pong and have a conversation at the same time.
You're not gonna do that.
That'd be really dope. You just
I
set
didn't
up
say-
2 tables, set up the camera right there, put the mics there and mics there, and just talk while you're playing beer pong.
Would you do that?
Yeah, do it here. I don't know if my table's big enough, but we can do it.
This table's not big. I have a table. Actually, no. Kyle has that. I sold it to him.
My
brother.
mom's got a bunch of like this kind of tables.
The white ones?
Go grab one, yeah. A
Grab
bunch
that
of
shit.
them, like,
You can
Grab that
pull out the college table where it has everybody writing on it.
Oh, there's dicks all over that table.
Why are there
There's
dicks
penises.
all over
There's
that?
Because in
penises.
college she had like a big ass table for like it was her college beer pong table, and she like would use it
Where? At your
for
house?
parties
You threw parties at your house?
all the
For your
time.
parents?
That's how I like first went to her house was a party. Every time I went to her house, it was a party.
Well, not anymore.
Ranger.
Now we go and nap.
Yeah, now it's different. But I'm saying back then in
You've
college,
grown up. You've
we
matured.
were getting trash. We were playing Rage Cage, and anyways, people grab markers and draw dicks and
I
shit.
used to blow shit up in my house.
Yeah, I used to blow shit up in his backyard. Now I blow shit up on the beer pong table.
You know how many times
Or
my neighbor
would be
wanted to call
really
the cops on us
Oh, really?
for blowing shit up, but I would just be like,
Well,
calling them.
remember we set that thing on fire at your grandma's,
Oh yeah, they called the fire
and the
department.
fire department came, blew it out,
Fire
and
department.
just kept on driving.
They were pissed.
They were pissed.
They were not having it.
Yeah, they
upset.
weren't.
I think
The whole
what
box
would
on
really
fire.
be cool too if y'all like had like almost like hot ones, but just the sauce.
We should try. I told
Just
you we
the
should try
sauce, and like when y'all would play beer pong, it hits the sauce. You're gonna have to eat the sauce.
it. That'd be gross.
That's okay.
Dude, that'd be
that's a
freaking
little,
But we
badass.
did want to do the sauces. We did want to try them. Those are expensive ass sauces.
Yeah,
Well, you
they're
don't have to use those sauces. You can just go to HEB
Good
and just
idea.
get like
Just
random
big hot ass
sauces.
sauces, bro. We should do that. Random, just like, and just
We'll figure
make
something
them.
out.
Bro, that'd be
What episode is this?
death. 40, I think. 39 or 40.
Hold on. Let me quick check.
I think it's
It'll
40.
be episode
39 or
38.
38.
Anyways,
Oh, sorry, I'm on.
thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate
And
your
great
time.
ideas.
Yeah, we'll
Beer
maybe
pong
not swallow sauces for our 50th, but maybe something along
Beer
those
pong
lines.
episode.
Maybe.
I like hot sauce.
I'd be down for that.
Oh, fire in the whole wings, dude, from Pluckers.
Why don't you buy Plucker sauces?
But yeah, pretty expensive. We'll figure something
That
out.
was expensive too.
Yeah.
Shit.
$15, $20.
It's cheaper than the hot ones.
That's
I'd
true.
do that one.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to come on and give us some insight into your life. I know you wanted to talk about ghosts at one point,
Yeah, we'll have to get you on.
but we'll have to get you on at a different time because
Y'all
there
are
are some.
not ready for my ghost story.
I've heard one. It's kind of scary. Adam was drunk.
That
and
was-
he told us about it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He
would've
probably
shut up
butchered
about it.
everything.
I kind of butchered. She
He
needs
was
to tell the
hammered,
story.
So he might have left out some,
And there was a
some
ghost.
details. I was trying to go to sleep. Let me tell you this real quick.
And then Krystal heard a
He
knock.
pulls up a chair. Trying to go to sleep. He pulls up a chair and rolls it into my room.
Oh
Would not
yeah.
stop talking. I was like, Adam, I'm fucking drunk. I'm tired.
Carla passed out. She was
She
there. She
fell
was
asleep
out.
while we were telling the story, and I was just like, Adam, come on.
And then Krystal heard a bang. Ooh, that.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and no, but for real.
Which one did you say? It was the one of her at the apartment that she had.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy.
That one's scary.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll have,
Maybe-
have to have her back on.
A Halloween episode where we have that.
Mm.
There it is.
It's ready.
Light
I
bulb.
got
There
it.
it is. It's done. It's over.
Light
It's
bulb.
done.
It's over. It's done.
Light bulb. Beep beep. Boop, boop. We'll do it like as a side project.
Side hustle.
Side
Spooky
project.
stories.
Spooky stories to tell in the
Bro, I've
night.
got a couple.
Oh yeah, we'll tell some.
The
I got a couple.
common spookies.
Alright.
We're just gonna end right here.
Alright,
We'll just stop right there.
Alright.
We appreciate you for coming on. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I know, I'm fucking starving. Hey, Roberto.
No.
I haven't had lunch.
All right, do your subscribe, like, all that stuff.
Okay, so yeah, catch this episode on all platforms, guys. We post every Friday now. Every Friday we're posting, so this will come out today actually. Later on today. Well, I was just gonna butcher.
Probably tomorrow because I don't know if I have time today to do it.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for giving us your input on athletic training, exercise physiology, and strength conditioning, and just your whole life for the most part, kind of. I think people would like, to hear your story and stuff. So I think this is a great conversation that we had. So
Awesome.
yeah, we're posting on all platforms:
Sometime.
Spotify, Podbean,
Overcast.
Overcast.
Why do you always forget Overcast?
Follow me at
never use
Krystal
it.
Davila Strength
Krystal
on
Davila
Instagram.
Stress.
Shout her out.
Tell the people what you're up to now. Hot ones.
No,
Style?
no.
What do you got going on in your life?
Oh, I don't know. Same old, same old. Just working
Pretty
out,
much the
working
same
on my
story.
life. Yeah.
Jacked.
Getting
Getting
jacked,
jacked.
working out, doing things.
Yeah, and this episode, if you want to see the video, will be on YouTube. So, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Everywhere.
Overcast,
It's everywhere.
everywhere. And
You search it, it's there.
again, thank you for your time. Clap, clap.